the Saudi ability to communicate that to the public. And I think this is a fault that's on Saudi itself, not on anyone else, because you have to deliver the message. We have built an amazing system of communicating leader to leader, but we have, excuse me to say this, but failed at communicating with the public opinion. And I feel that we complain about criticism, but this will only be resolved by us resolving that ourselves, the way we communicate with the media and the public. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and what next steps you'd be doing.
Thank you. If you could pass the microphone over here.
Hi, Jonathan Paris.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Middle East analyst, former member of the U.S. Middle East Project. We collaborated with you. In fact, you hosted us with the great meeting with your great uncle, head of the Shuras, as well as with King Abdullah when we were working on what became the Abdullah Peace Initiative.
Yes.
My question, though, is back to Yemen, because I really do appreciate what you're saying. I'd like to hear what is happening with the destruction of monuments, heritage sites in Yemen. These are ancient Jewish and Christian cities and Muslim cities being destroyed. But also, there's a new allegation. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you haven't heard of it. But there are a number of, in fact, more than hundreds of Yemeni students trapped in airports around the Middle East, Cairo, Jordan, who can't get back to Sana'a, can't get back to Yemen because of the airport closures. How can Saudi Arabia help them? Because I understand they're without means, that some of them are starving. Is there something that you can do to alleviate these collateral humanitarian catastrophes?
Yes, I think, first of all, on the first question, with regards to Saudi Arabia not being able to communicate effectively, yes, I agree. We have not been able to communicate effectively our positions, and we intend to change it. And so we're trying to be more open and be more communicative and explain our positions and our policies and engage people on every issue. There's nothing that we have to hide. We have a great story to tell. We just haven't been able to tell it effectively. And then with regards to your question, Jonathan, I think we have more than 150 incidences that people have raised that we will be looking at. And we intend to look at them, and we intend to publish the results, and we intend to be very transparent. Why would we hit a historic site? It doesn't shoot at you. It's not a threat to you. Why would we do this? What we have found is that when we take out a target, the Houthi Saleh come and use artillery shells all around it. And then they say, look at the collateral damage. What they don't know, and what we should have done a better job at, is show you the pictures, before and after. The building was taken down. Everything else around it is intact. 2 days later, everything else around it is destroyed. We get blamed. And it was the other side that indiscriminately shelled the area in order to make it look like the coalition did this. Which goes back to my compatriots' question. We can do a better job.
Thank you. We'll take two final questions, one here and one
Najah
for the gentleman at the side.
I'm a PhD researcher in politics and part of King Abdullah Scholarship Program in the UK. I would like to ask you about a recent statement by Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He said, women driving is a social issue. Do you think it's convenient to blame the society when the government hasn't done anything about to help in women driving?
Thank you very much. And I'll take in one last question from this gentleman here. I'm sorry, won't have time
Thank
for
you.
anyone else.
Thank you, sir, for a very interesting speech. My name is Magdi Abdelhadi, and I'm a member of Chatham House. You say Saudi Arabia is a much older monarchy than we think, 300 years, I think you said. Why is it taking the kingdom so long to appoint a foreign minister who is not a member of the royal family? Because I believe you are the first. So and correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you very much.
We have, on the issue of women driving, I think it is a social issue. There are no laws in Saudi Arabia that prohibit women from driving, but it is a social issue that our society will have to deal with, and I'm sure they will deal with it in time. 70% of Saudi Arabia is under the age of 30. They are very connected. 50% or more of Saudi citizens are on social media. They have hopes and dreams and ambitions, and I think this will change. But it will. But you can't. Yeah. The issue is is, like I said, a social one, and our society will have to deal with it. Now, when you look at the change in Saudi Arabia, 60 years ago there were no schools for women. Today, 55% of women, of college students, are women.
It's not it is not social, it's political.
I would respectfully disagree with that. I think when we had an incident in 1990 when women tried to force the issue, it generated a huge backlash in the country by society, not by the government. So patience. Everything happens in due time. And I would say focus on the important things, opening up job opportunities for women, increasing the participation rates of women in the workplace. They're what? The society has to be ready. The society has to be ready, and I'm sure at a certain point it will be. Now, with regards to your issue, I don't think there were foreign ministers in any country 300 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm afraid that that's all we're going to have time for. The Minister will have to leave to make a phone call. And I'm sorry, I know there were many people with questions that I wasn't able to get in. We will have another discussion on Saudi Arabia next week, looking at the post-oil economy. But for now, please join me in thanking our guests so much for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you,